I want to start this video off by saying that I am not a professional. I am not a trauma expert. I'm not a mental health expert. I am not your mom. I'm not a therapist. And I, most importantly, am not telling you what to do about your trauma. I'm not telling you what to do about whatever injustice you're facing, no matter how big or small. That is not what I'm doing. I am sharing my experience and hopefully offering some insight to those who need it, and that's all that this is. I know that this is a very sensitive topic because, bad things happen to people, and it's a lot for a lot of people, and I get that. I made a video about this on my TikTok, and it was like a 5-second video with some random audio and like 3 sentences of text on it. And I basically said that the way to truly let go of someone is by forgiving them. And a lot of people got offended by just that. And I know that I triggered their egos, and I wasn't even trying to rage bait or anything, honestly. But I don't know, it was not surprising, but eye-opening to see how much people were triggered by someone telling them that it might be a good idea to forgive whoever hurt them. And when something like that, like a small video like that, triggers you to a point of anger, to where you have to take it out on anyone, that just shows how much power the situation has over you. And of course it's not your fault. You didn't choose that, of course, but there is a way to be free from that, to be free from being triggered by however many things or whatever reminds you of the situation or person or thing. There's a way to be free, and it takes letting go of your pride and letting go of your ego in order to serve your soul and set yourself free. And it's very hard for a lot of people. It was hard for me, honestly. A lot of people who might know me in real life probably thought I was very resentful, very judgmental of a lot of people in my past, anyone who's hurt me, and I would even resent other people's enemies, like my friends' enemies, and I don't know. It was a blind loyalty thing for me. I was very, very loyal to a fault, and it was all in the name of empathy. But there's a way to be empathetic without taking on or absorbing pain, and I've learned that. But my point is that I understand, and I understand that it does come from a place of ego, and it's hard to forget because it's ingrained in our survival mechanism. The ego, it is our survival mechanism. I listened to this podcast episode. It's called Kortemplations, and there's one episode on it, and it's about the ego. And I listened to it so much because it's just such a good reminder, and I always keep forgetting it. But a part of what he says is that, you know, we don't really see things for what they are. It's like, it's when something bad happens to us, it's not just that something bad happened to us, it's that the thing that made that bad thing happen is evil and out to get us and inherently bad and an enemy. And, you know, this survival mechanism is needed. It's just like, he uses this example in the podcast. I don't fully remember it, but what he says basically is that when you run towards a bear, the bear can only see that you're running towards it and you're trying to attack it, meaning the bear is going to think you are evil and you must die, and you're trying to come for my life, so you must die, and all this other stuff. But when in reality, you could have, I don't know, been running to the bear to help it or feed it or pet it or something. And, you know, because the bear has its survival mechanism, there's no way for it to see what was actually going on. It could only see the potential of them being hurt. Or in some of our cases, we can just see how we were hurt by it, which is completely normal. Because, you know, we want to protect ourselves. That's what the ego does. And it's a gift, but also works to our detriment a lot of the time, especially in this day and age when we don't really need our survival instincts anymore. So our egos are just inflated. It was a really good podcast episode. You should definitely listen to it. I think I'll link it down below. But yeah, I think after you let yourself feel all of the anger and sadness or grief that this event brought, that this person brought, that this thing brought, once you go through that entire process, the next step of healing is to let go. And how do you let go? You have to forgive. And this triggers a lot of people because when they hear me say forgive, they think I mean reconciliation or being buddy-buddy or getting back together with someone, which is not what I mean at all. You don't even have to tell this person that you forgive them, you know. If you still feel unsafe, don't tell them that you forgive them. Because there's also no reason to, because we're doing this for ourselves, not for them, you know. You can forgive them, you can tell them that you forgive them, but that won't even really matter unless they forgive themselves or whatever. That whole thing is complicated. What I'm saying is how this other person or thing or people feel, or how they view the situation, what they think about you does not matter, is not a concern at all. What is at concern here is your well-being and your willingness to let go of this feeling of resentment of this person. Because when you hold on to resentment and you let this thing have the ability to trigger you and have power over you, you are still energetically connected to this person, whether you like it or not. And that also might trigger some people, but you know, there's a literal cord between you. And that cord is your resentment, your anger, your negative feelings. And a lot of people like to hold on to this so that they're justified in their hurt, and so that they're justified in their victimness of it all. And I want to tell you that that is not important. It can't be changed, you know? You are hurt, and you don't have to prove that to anybody. You surely don't have to prove that to yourself. So why do you need an enemy? You know? I don't know if that makes sense, but it takes so much energy, so much negative energy, to feel so much resentment for someone. Truthfully, it's not healthy for you. And when you're holding on to this, oh, holy shit. Okay, I had low power mode. Okay, I hope the video is okay. I think it is. It looks like it is. But when you hold on to this resentment, you're also holding on to the version of you that was hurt by this person. And we want to be free of that, naturally. Of course, we take the lessons from it and we remember what we learned. But then we grow. We move past it. We can't stay hurt forever. We can't sit and stare at our wounds forever, okay? Because when you do that, you're just making sure that they stay open, you know? Making sure that you stay a victim of your traumas and stay a victim to the people who hurt you, you know? And a lot of people don't even realize that this is what they're doing. A lot of people don't realize that sometimes it wasn't personal what this person did to you or didn't do to you. You don't have to have them as an enemy, but like I said, some people need an enemy in order to, you know, feel justified in staying in a negative mindset, because these negative emotions are really addicting. And once you start feeling like a victim, it's easy to be powerless, honestly. It's easy to say, woe is me, and the world is out to get me, and nothing goes my way. It's so easy to do that. And I really encourage you to have the courage to, I don't know, move past it all and forgive and let go, and realize that the people who hurt you were very, very hurt and traumatized themselves. That is what has helped me a lot, to forgive the people who have hurt me. Every single person who has purposefully hurt me has been, they are the most wildly insecure and traumatized people that I know, genuinely. And in realizing that, stepping back and realizing that it wasn't personal to me at all, brings so much comfort, for one, but also makes me realize that it wasn't about me. It was about the hurt that they felt inside. And you know, all I can do is wish them healing so that it doesn't continue again, so that another person isn't hurt, you know. And I know that this is true, because the times that I've wanted to hurt people, the times that I have hurt people on purpose, were the times where I was wildly insecure, where I was deeply in my ego, when I hated myself so much, that was when I needed to, or I wanted to hurt people. And that is always the case. That is always the case with everyone, okay? People who hate themselves will want to make you hate themselves. People who judge themselves will judge you. People who are mean to themselves will be mean to you. Everything is inward. Everything is reflection. And yeah, it's not personal, you know. And once I realized that, it was so much easier to forgive and let go and have this weight lifted off of my shoulders. But it takes time, you know. I'm not saying that it's easy, of course, but it is worth it, and a lot of things that are worth it aren't easy. So, yeah, just be free. You don't have to have enemies. You don't have to. You don't have to hold on to the hurt. You don't have to hold on to the injustices. They already happened. There's nothing you can do. Just pray for healing. Healing for yourself and healing for the other person or anyone who is involved. Other practical ways that you can go about forgiving other people is writing a letter of forgiveness. Don't send it unless you want to, but it's really nice to see all of these things on paper and say all of these things to this person without saying it. You know? It's just really great. It's peaceful. You know, I like to think that I don't have any enemies. Me as Victoria, I have no enemies. I try to see everyone for who they are and not as what they did to me. But that doesn't mean I'm friends with everyone who hurt me. That doesn't mean that I'm all buddy-buddy, you know what I mean? Because honestly, maybe I'm an enemy for a lot of people. And maybe they need me as an enemy to feel better about whatever else is going on in their life. And honestly, my purpose on this earth, I know, is to be of service to others in terms of my art, in terms of these videos, and in terms of my day-to-day life. I just want to be in service of others. I want to do all of that. So if me being a bad guy will be in service of someone, then I'm okay with that, you know? I already have everything that I need. Yeah, another part of forgiveness is also forgiving yourself. Not only for the harm you may have caused others, but for the harm that you caused for yourself. Because we all play a huge role in our own suffering. That's just a fact. But that can take a lot of work too, and a lot of time. But it's worth it. You know? Understand that we're all human, and all of us just want to be loved, and anyone who hurts you has already hurt themselves. And wish them healing. Wish their inner child happiness and fulfillment and true healing, you know? That's all you can do. I hope that this video brought brought some insight at all. Sorry if I was kind of jumbled. This is a very sensitive topic, and I just wanted to get it right, I guess. But what even is right? I don't even know. But I think that's all of my thoughts. I'm trying to see. Let me check my notes actually that I took for this. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'll leave you with this. I already said this, but to summarize and make sure it's the last thing in your brain. Forgiveness is worth it. It doesn't mean that you reconcile with them. You don't have to tell them anything. And how to forgive people, you can write them a letter. Don't send it, or do if you want to. And understand that hurt people always hurt people. Empathy. It's always key. Yeah, and forgive yourself. That's the biggest thing. Forgive yourself for the role you played in your suffering. Okay, I did a lot of repeating myself. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's definitely my longest one to date. But yeah, I'll see you next week.